Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham, Mashiach, and Malak Yahweh Shah, that is to say, Heavenly Father, in the name of His only begotten Son. Right today, we're just coming to you, or I'm coming to you, right, with a lesson going into discipline is desire. It should be the number one thing that you desire each and every single day, man, is to have that discipline and to have that spirit over you from the Most High to continue in discipline and consistency each and every single day, man, right? It tells you that in Wisdom of Solomon, man, that you want to sit there and be as close to the Most High through discipline. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that real quick. We'll kick it off with this first and foremost. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse number 28. It says, "For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom." So these different things is what we want to exercise, right? How do you get the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? Is first and foremost having the discipline within your mind and your spirit, right? We're going to jump up to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, right? And I want to start at verse number 17. It says, "For the very true beginning of her," which is talking about wisdom, "for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love." Verse 18, "And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption. And incorruption maketh us near unto God. Therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom." So you want to make sure that you desire and discipline each and every single day, putting it within your habits and your goals and your schedule, that you have some type of form of discipline, that you have some type of form of a schedule that you follow on a day in and day out for the Lord, essentially, man. Right? We can't just sit there and go through life willy-nilly and expect to get everything that we ask for, man. Right? Pull this precept real quick, because first and foremost, you have to be delighting yourself in the Most High in order to get the things that you truly desire, right? It's not just going to be handed to you. These different things are not just going to sit there and be regarded for your past labors and your past accounts. You know what I'm saying? That you did last week, the week before, right? 2 weeks ago, damn, a month ago, last year. You know what I'm saying? And these things are going to be accounted for. It's what you did today, what you plan on doing tomorrow, and how you execute it, and how you apply these scriptures on a day-to-day basis, man. The Lord told us to meditate on the scriptures day and night, which means that every time that you're meditating on something, you should be coming to some type of conclusion that is helping you advance, some type of conclusion that is helping you move forward. There's no point in us sitting there still reaping the rewards and the labors of last week and 2 weeks ago if we're supposed to continually be doing these things that the Lord has ordained us to do, or told us to do. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse number 3. "Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed." It's basically him saying, hey, have faith, but also have works. Is having trust in the Lord is having faith. You have confidence that the Lord's going to come through for you, that the Lord's going to do everything that you've been asking of for you. You understand? And it says, and do good. How do you perform good works? Right? It's before putting your hand to the plow, doing what the Lord out, essentially applying the scriptures, man. These different things are going to get you what you're asking for. Verse 4, here's the point: "Delight thyself also in the Lord." So don't look at the things that the Lord is requiring of you to be burdenous. Don't look at the things that the Lord is asking you to do to be wearisome, right? Trying to be a perfectionist at it. There's no level of perfectionism that you can really reach when it comes to doing things for the Lord, man. It's either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. So procrastination, you know what I'm saying, no real overthinking. It's all just a spirit. And the spirit stems from what? Satan at the end of the day, man. And this is important why this is why it's important to kind of have that discipline in place. That discipline is going to help you get back on track and let you know, hey, look, I still got to be consistent. I still got to show up. I still got to do what the Lord asked me to do, no matter what. You understand? Because there's certain duties that we agree to once we came into this truth, right? Certain obligations that we prepared our mind for once we came into this truth. How can we backslide now? How can we make excuses for ourselves now? It's just Satan getting an advantage or trying to get an advantage, right? And we can't let that happen. We can't let that sit there and get to us at the end of the day, man. Right? So reading on, it says, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart." You know what I'm saying? So when you pray to the Most High and you actually examine yourself and you know what to pray for, then will you receive what the Lord assists like you. Then will you receive what you're asking of from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Then will these things be granted unto you, right? So let's get 2 Timothy chapter 1, right? And we're going to read verse number 6. Right? It says, "Wherefore I put thee in remembrance, that thou stir up the gift of Yahweh, which is in thee, by the putting on of my hands. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind." All these things you have if you just obey the Most High. All these things you have if you just sit there and trust in the Lord, essentially, man. Right? These things will automatically be given unto you, man. These things are already within you. You just got to stir it back up and remember that these things are within you. But if you continue on in the ways that you've been walking in slothfulness, not going as hard as you possibly can, right? Constantly overthinking things, right? Constantly being trying to be a perfectionist, right? And that's just a spirit, you know what I'm saying? Satan will try to gaslight you, man, right? And what I mean by that is, if you're not familiar with the term gaslight, right? Satan will try to enable you to make you think that you're right. You understand? And that's what a lot of these damn spirits are. You know what I'm saying? That they label as disorders, right? Everybody walks around and say, "Oh, I have ADHD. I have ADHD." No, it's a spirit on you. It's Satan plaguing your mind with a whole bunch of thoughts so that you can't properly navigate your thoughts, right? And actually meditate properly, man, and do what the Lord is essentially requiring of you, right? Meditating upon the precepts. Instead, you're doing 1,000,010 things, man. You can't stand still, right? And you just sit there and chuck it up to, "Hey, I got ADHD," right? No, that's just Satan plaguing you, right? That's really this world, right, who works on the right hand side of Satan, right? Because that right hand signifies the strength, right? That's really this world, right, on the right hand side of Satan that's enabling you to make you think that, hey, it's okay with all the stuff that you're going through. No, it's not okay. You got to fight back, right? You can't just sit there and continue on in these different things and expect everything's going to be okay, right? So let's get this real quick in Ephesians, right, chapter 6, real quick. Because it's important that we remember this at all times, man. At any point in time, it's not us wrestling against the other nations. It's not us wrestling against our neighbor. It's not us wrestling against our damn supervisor that we hate at our job, man. Right? Because he always putting us on shift for the damn Sabbath, man. No, we don't work with the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? It's not these men. It's the spiritual demon Satan. It's the wickedness in high places, right? It's these demons that are trying to vex you on every side, right? This is Ephesians chapter 6 and verse number 10. "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." How do you be strong in the Lord? How do you exercise the power in his might, right? It's by what? The putting on of his hands. How do you put on the hands? And guess what? You have to have that discipline. Desire that discipline, desire that sincerity, desire that regimen, man. Desire that order and organization within your home, right? Within your mind, within your spirit. You understand? And these different things will keep you protected. These different things will be your buckler and shield, man. Right? Which is essentially how Hashem Yahushua through the wisdom that he has put on through you or put onto you, right? Through spirit. Let's read on. "Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Right? So that right there, plain and simple, is telling you, hey, guess what? We're not wrestling against the damn man, right? Let me go to Romans chapter 7 real quick. Because the flesh and the spirit has been the most notorious battle known to man for decades and decades and decades and centuries upon centuries upon centuries and millenniums upon millenniums, man. Right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 7, and verse number 16. We can start at 14, really. Right, it says, "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I." So basically, Paul is letting you know that, hey, guess what? We want to do good in our mind. We want to do good in our spirit. But guess what? The flesh wants to do evil. The flesh wants to do wickedness. And that's what we give our strength to at times, man. Anytime that you sit there and you discourage yourself, right? Or you put off from day to day reading a couple of chapters, right? Teaching your family, getting in that fast with that brother, right? Or them giving alms of charity. You know what I'm saying? That's you, what? Feeding into the flesh. You're doing the things that what you hate, essentially, in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? The thing we have to desire what to do the things that our spirit loves and cherishes, the things that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua glorifies in, man. That He's looking at us and He's smiling, He's joyous, He's greatly esteemed. You know what I'm saying? At the works that we're performing, man. Right? He got the angels note taking it, man. Or I should say, the angels are rejoicing, man, because they know that the reward is what the reward is that comes at the end of that. Right? Let's read on. It says, "Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not." We struggle to find it, man, on a day to day basis. And that's why it's important for you to have some type of discipline and structure within your mind, right? And stability within your household, man, right? Which essentially is just going into your mind again and just the organization that you have set up. You know what I'm saying? It's imperative to have these different things because this is what's going to help keep you girded against the spiritual demon Satan. This is what's going to help you always have a rock to climb back to, man. You don't ever want to just sit there and go out to the ocean and you just swimming. You don't got no buoy. You don't got no damn life jacket. You don't got nothing. You don't got a boat that's anchored that you could go back to, right? They just out there, right? Well, eventually, guess what? You're going to get exhausted. And once you get exhausted, hey, that's it. You finish, man. It's really no telling what can happen, man. Shark might creep up on you, right? Stingray might get you. You know what I'm saying? A eel might get you, right? You might just sit there and hey, pass out, man, from dehydration and just being exhausted and just drown. You know what I'm saying? Because you went unconscious in the water, right? With no one to save you, right? And you didn't sit there and set up some type of plan, right? Or get back. So you always want to make sure that you have some type of structure set up within your mind and your house and for your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, a man that has no rule over his mind is as a city with no walls. You know what I'm saying? As I told you in the book of Ecclesiastes, you want to make sure that guess what, you have everything set up the way that you need to have it set up. That you have a defense mechanism, right? And that you have a defense mechanism for that defense mechanism, right? Just in case that first line of defense fails. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you have multiple of those for real, right? You at any point in time, you don't want to jeopardize being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no telling how bad it could get. You know what I'm saying? When you are vulnerable, right? We'll read one more in this. It says, verse 19: "For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me." Right? So it's a transition, man. Right? You chuck it up to the flesh and man and everything like that. But really, it's just a spiritual demon Satan to get you to go off. Because now you done sinned. Now you done wronged yourself against the Most High. Right? So these different things you got to examine before they even happen, man. Right? You don't always want to be in the spirit where you examine things after the fact. You say, oh, no, you want to develop a level of foresight. You want to gauge yourself off of past hindsight, you know what I'm saying? And be able to gauge and get some type of foresight, some righteous judgment and discernment, man. What's going to teach you that? Discipline is going to help you build up that what? That that discernment, you know what I'm saying, and that foresight. Because why? When you build a type of structure or a habit, you know that anytime that you're straying from it, something bad is about to happen. So you're able to foresee the evil. That's a part of being steadfast and being sober and being vigilant, man. That's really you being sober. It's being able to have discernment and righteous judgment at any point in time and not fall into the snares of the devil. As he tells you in First Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and go to Romans chapter 11. All right, just a couple more chapters now. Let's go to Romans chapter 11 and 29. It reads, "For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause, many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. You understand? Right? And in this specific context, this is really chiefly going into the times of the Passover and you want to be able to examine yourself. You know what I'm saying? But the point that I really wanted to grab in that was us being able to judge ourselves, us being able to kind of weigh what's good for our spirit, what's not good for our spirit, being able to kind of have a level of discernment and knowing what is good for us, what we need to do, and what we need to stay away from. You understand? All right, let's go to Philippians. It's like it. I really want to go to Sirach chapter 34, verse 7. Right? Um, it's like it. I want. It's 39. No, it's 37. Okay. This book of Sirach chapter 37, verse 27. My son, prove thy soul and thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. You can't feel those different things that are evil within your life, man. The things that are evil for your spirit, the things that make you think about the ways of the old man, the things that make you think about your past, your old friends, right? The world, right? Smoking that weed again, right? Smoking that black and mild again, right? Drinking until from 11 p.m. all the way up to 5 a.m. every single day again. You don't want to fall back into those snares and devices, right? And basically dig up that old man, that dead body. Right? It says, my son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it. And give not that unto it. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. Right? So you want to stay away from those things that are essentially going to destroy you. Like Paul was basically saying in Romans chapter 7, he said those things that you would not do, right? Or that you essentially don't want to do. You got to stay away from it to begin with. Don't even tempt yourself or entice yourself, man. And if anybody's tempting or enticing you, you need to check them. You know what I'm saying? Check their temperature, right? Because why they bringing that up, right? Why they talking about X, Y, and Z, man? Right? Talking about, blunt smoke and all that different stuff, man. Right? No one sit there and check their temperature, man. Make sure they're not dealing with the same thing. But it's also conscience sakes for you. Hey, just gotta let a brother know, man. Hey, look, or just withdraw yourself from the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's good to really always stay in line and understand where you're supposed to be, man. Right? Because that discipline of being able to check yourself, right, and to be able to monitor your thoughts and monitor your actions, right, and foresee different things before they happen is going to save you from a lot of situations for real, right? Let's go to Sirach chapter 34, and verse number. We can read 9, or we can start at 9. This is the book of Sirach chapter 34, and verse number 9. It says, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom, right? Through much experience, because guess what? Life is going to do nothing for you but give you experience. It's going to continue to build you up. You're going to learn. You're going to fall. You're going to get back up, and you're going to say, "Dang, knocking dust off of your shoulders," and say, "I'm not going that way again," right? And keep on walking. And you're going to remember that. And you're going to continue to walk. And you might sit there and take another route, but you might still fall and trip again, man. But you get back up and you say, "Well, I got to make a left. I got to make a right. Now I got to go straight for however long. Then I got to make another right." You know what I'm saying? Experience is going to teach you the direction to what? The kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But you have to hold fast to that experience and that knowledge that the Lord has bestowed upon you, you know what I'm saying, through the Spirit, and not forsake it. What are the ways of forsaking that experience and wisdom that the Lord has bestowed upon you? Is a rekindling with the world, rekindling with that old man, rekindling with the relations of that old man. And it don't even got to be actual people, but it could be different things that you used to indulge in, right? Not being as on fire, not studying or praying as much, or just in general. You know what I'm saying? Not cleansing yourself of these spirits before you know what I'm saying they overcome you, right? To where as though you become impudent and you fear not the judgments of the Most High. Right now you're just doing whatever. You just willy nilly again, freaking off, just doing whatever. You want to abstain from these different things and set yourself up to be in a good state. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that, hey, look, I'm not going to fall to the wayside, right? And I'm not going to forget these things that the Lord instilled within me. So just read on verse 10. He that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence. When I traveled, I saw many things, and I understand more than I can express. I was oftentimes in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things. Hey, so traveling is not just a sense of physical travel. You know what I'm saying? It is mighty as heck to be able to travel from state to state, country to country, and be able to proclaim the words of the Lord and magnify the Lord's name, man. That's beautiful, right? But many of us have traveled, right, and had many encounters. You know what I'm saying? It could have been from the grocery store back to the house, from the house over to our family member's house. You know what I'm saying? That's traveling as well. You might travel in thought. You know what I'm saying? You're mental. You're just thinking about things, man. When you meditate continually and you're deep in thought, you gain experience. You gain a certain level of wisdom. Why? Because you're taking the time out to do critical thinking, right? And this is not, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, this doesn't apply if you're thinking about vain things, right? You kind of just thinking to yourself, you're like, check it the PlayStation, check it the Xbox. Not forget the Xbox. I'm not gonna play this game. If I get the PlayStation, I can play this game. But then I'll miss out on this. And like that, that's vain at the end of the day. Those are not the things that you want to muster up in your thoughts, man. The things that you should be mustering up in your thoughts is trying to understand, how can I offend less? How can I flip these talents that the Lord gave me? Well, I know the Lord gifted me in this, so I know I need to be doing this. How do I do it to the best of my abilities? How do I gain more confidence? You're asking yourself these different questions, and you don't ask yourself these different questions for no reason, but you learn to apply them as well later on, and you build what experience? You build wisdom because now you have declared certain things, right? And when you get this wisdom, when you get this experience, when you understand which ways to go, which ways not to go, right? It's going to help you be delivered from death, essentially, man. It's going to help you be delivered from the spiritual demon Satan. It's going to help you be delivered from the ways of this world, right? And the things that it has to offer, which essentially is nothing but condemnation. All right. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 15. I believe we just read 1 Corinthians 11. Slightly, we read Sirach for last, but let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 31. Right. It says, I protest by your rejoicing, which I have, and Hamashiach Yahushua, our Lord, I die daily. You know what I'm saying? You got to kill off that old man. You got to shock it and mortify it and put it back in the grave, man. Every now and again, that arm gonna try to pop out. You gotta put it back in the dirt. Every now and again, that head gonna try to jump out, man. You gotta put it back, you know what I'm saying, under the dirt, man, and make sure it stays there. At no point in time should you let damn the arm rise up. Now the damn shoulder coming up. Now the head's poking out. Right now the other arm's poking up. Right, and it's damn near about to push itself above the ground, man. At no point in time should you be letting anything get that far, man. Right? Let me get Sirach chapter 5, verse number 5 real quick. All right, it says, be like this Sirach chapter 5, verse 5. It says, concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin, right? And say not his mercy is great. He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Right, so I'm going to touch on that verse for multiple points, for real, right? But you're not supposed to be putting off, from day to day. Gifts that the Lord gave you, talents that the Lord told you to flip, right? The revelations that the Lord has bestowed upon you, right? Don't put those things off from day to day, man. Don't just sit there and say, I'll do it tomorrow, right? I'll do it next week. I'll do it the week after next. I'll do it next month. I'll do it when Passover passes. No, do it right now while you have the power to do such, man. Right? Do it right now while the Lord is telling you to do it, man. Because I guaranteed you, right? When you was all when everybody who was watching this video, right, was kids and their parents told them to do something, right? And they kind of got a pause out of it, right? You might have kept doing what you was doing, right? And there might have been a slight pause. And they say, now, you jump up, man, you go do it. Why does the Lord even have to say now? This is the most high God who could destroy you in the snap of a finger. He don't even gotta snap his fingers. All you gotta do is think it, and you could be destroyed. Why at any point in time do you want to play with him and think that the Lord is telling you something for not telling you something to do later? He's telling you to do it right now. So don't tarry from day to day, sitting there saying, well, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. No way. Hey, you know, hey, this kind of happened. This kind of happened. You pacifying the Lord and you giving excuses, man. Right? And it's the same way with sin. Don't continue. And this is for a lot of Jake that's walking around the world right now. Eve that's walking around the world right now. That's dressed up. We was just downtown earlier, man. Right? That's dressed up. You know what I'm saying? Halloween outfits, man. Pacifying the Lord. Right? Thinking that they're gonna go to church tomorrow and everything gonna be sweet and good and kosher and copacetic. You know what I'm saying? It's them pacifying the Lord, right? And adding sin upon sin, praising idols, right? And basically practicing in witchcraft. Now, not to go too deep, but that's going into Celtic witchcraft, man. When you professing yourself to be keeping Halloween, which is also known as Samhain, right? You're apostate spirits, you know what I'm saying? And you basically communing with the dead, right? It's all off at the end of the day. All of these pagan holidays have a spiritual representation of the left hand side that we need to investigate and stop conforming ourselves to. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of our people have already stopped conforming themselves to it, all praise to the Most High, but we have to continue to do such, man. Right? But come that it's important to die daily, right? To mortify your members, right? And this flesh that's constantly warring against you, man. I think it was in Solomon chapter 9. All right, this was in Solomon chapter 9 and verse number 15. It reads, for the thoughts of a mortal man are miserable. So like it's verse 14. I don't know if I said that right, but for the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. Right? There's nothing certain about going with your mind, right? Going with your flesh. You're just going with the flow. There's nothing certain about that, man. There's nothing solidary about that, man. There's no point in time should you just be going with the flow. Yeah, I'm just vibing. You know how I do, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kicking. I'm just chilling. I'm just going with the wind. That's a foolish way to live, man. Not having no order, no structure, man. Not having no discipline. Not having no organization, man. That's a foolish way to carry yourself, man. And that's the way that you get jammed up. That's the way that you essentially end up, reprobate. You know what I'm saying? For lack of better words, you end up being reprobate, not caring for the things for the Lord, man. Only caring about the things for yourself, being selfish, right? You end up surfeiting, right? And just giving yourself up to the ways of this world. You want to make sure that you have some type of order or structure and desire that discipline, man. You have a sincere desire of discipline, right? But reading on verse 15, it says, for the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weigheth down the mind that museth upon many things. And hardly do we guess aright at the things that are upon earth. And with labor do we find the things that are before us, but the things that are in heaven, who have searched out? Hey, so we can't even fathom, guess about all the things that are upon the face of the earth. We got to sit there and put in a whole bunch of labor's work just to find a little bit of stuff and information that we have found. You know what I'm saying? And and a lot of stuff that has been found, it was, power that was utilized on the left hand side, sorcery and witchcraft and necromancy just to come up with certain things, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's labor's work, man. You got people dedicating their whole lives and their soul, putting it all on the line just to sit there and find out things like such as anthropology, man, right, which is the study of man. to find history on these ancient civilizations that the Lord plundered with the Israelites. Hey, this is what the Lord's telling us. So how can we sit there and even fathom to guess at the things that are in heaven? There's no work that you could do to sit there and find out what's going on in the third heaven, right? Or what's about to happen next. But when the Lord is going to come back, right? Our Lord and Savior, who literally gave himself as a sacrifice and died for our sins, he don't even know the time in which he gonna come back, but he know that he ready, right? He know that he's steadfast, he's vigilant, he's making sure that hey, guess what, that sword is sharp, it ain't gonna be dull. To sit there and judge, hey, the nations, to judge our people that have been wicked and disobedient from the days of old. You understand? And these different things are happening, man. You got to ask yourself, am I in order? Am I ready? Right? Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 14, verse number 10. All right, this is 2 Ezra 14 and verse number 10. It says, "For the world has lost its youth, and the times begin to wax old." Right? And I'm going to jump down to verse 13. "Now therefore, set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption." Right? Now it's important to make sure your house is in order, man. Now it's important to make sure that you have everything set up for the Lord and not for the prolonging of this world, man. That your hope and your desire is not, going after this world. You know what I'm saying? These different things is only going to get you so far, man. Right? Let me get two precepts through the Spirit, right? Um, I want to get, bear with me just a moment, for sure. I want to get 2 Ezra chapter 4, verse number 2, right? I'll read that first. This is 2 Ezra chapter 4, right? And verse number 2, it reads thus. We can start at 1. Right, 2 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 1, it says, "And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer, and said, Thy heart hath gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?" Right? You got to make sure that your mind ain't down after the ways of this world, man. Right? Making sure that you're not set up to think um in the same manner that the so-called white man is thinking it, man. It's not, excuse me, it's not going to get you very far, man. It's not going to get you the things that you desire. It's not going to, get you on the right hand side of the Most High. You're not going to please the Lord at all. You know what I'm saying? These different things are enmity with the Most High God, man. You perform a wickedness, you be in alignment with this world. You know what I'm saying? You basically, having your mind set after the ways of this world and thinking that this economy is going to prolong itself, right? That that your job is going to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to get a promotion, right? You're going to become GM, right? And you might not even make it to see your next promotion, man. You might be a clerk right now, right? Or a greeter or an associate, right? The next promotion that you might see is down, a closer, man, right? And that's it, right? You might just make it up to that next bump, and that's it. Your mind can't be too far into this world, man. You might have an entrepreneurial business, right? And you thinking to yourself, oh yeah, I'm gonna make about 5 million, 6 million. I'm gonna take care of my generations, children, my grandchildren. Your mind too far into this world, bro. You investing too much. And it's not to sit there and say that you can't have some level of order, because that's exactly what we're going into, is basically having discipline and setting things up in an organization, having a schedule and a regimen to make sure that you always have a track to stick to. There's nothing wrong with having some type of ambition or aspirations. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to overinvest in these things. You don't want to think 10 years in advance, man. It's good to have foresight, but 10 years in advance, and you trying to plan out a vacation. You know what I'm saying? PTO, right? I know I'm gonna have about this much PTO and Turks and Caicos, and then we're gonna go to Bali, and then we're gonna go to Bora Bora. Like, but it's not expedient, right? And some of our sisters, you know what I'm saying, they hope and dream too as well, but it's not good to tempt yourself with that. You want to make sure that you're moving in the spirit of, hey, look, am I doing enough today for the Lord? Am I doing enough for Yahweh Shem Shai that He not gonna put my candle out for tomorrow? Christ even tells you, right, in Matthew chapter 6, worry not for tomorrow, roughly paraphrasing, right? Christ was moving in the mindset of doing all that He could in one single day. And if He woke up the next day, then hey, it is what it is. He gonna go just as hard as He did yesterday or even harder. Just to sit there and fulfill the will of the Most High God. Right, and we're gonna close off on this. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number 11. It reads, I'm gonna read that verse number 8. Right? We don't start at 8. Wherefore I beseech you that ye would confirm your love toward him. For to this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgave anything, to whom I forgave it, for your sakes forgave I it in the person of Hamashiach, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And you want to strive to be obedient in these last days, man, right? And having a sense of order, having that discipline, so you could strive to be as obedient as possible. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so this way you could avoid Satan getting that advantage over you, man. You can't be ignorant of the devices of Satan. Him using him using your car. Your car that broke down for the 5th time in 1 month, right? Him using your job and actually work on a Sabbath about 3 times in a row in 1 month, 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Your wife, you know what I'm saying? Or even your husband sometimes, man, right? They just picking arguments. This is Satan getting an advantage sometimes, man. We got to examine the whole matter and understand where we might be falling short. We can't always just sit there and point at the Lord and say, why is he doing this? What's going on? Am I being judged? Or not necessarily I'm being judged. Am I being chastised? Or am I being brought through the fire? Right? Rather than the question is, am I being judged for something? Is there something that I did wrong? You should always start with yourself first and foremost, man. And if you can't find the answer, you need to ask the Lord to help you find the answer. Because 99.999% out of 100, you know what I'm saying, of the time, it's something that you did, right? It's something that you did to bring that upon yourself. Man. You know what I'm saying? And that's really many times the case. Now, sometimes you might actually be being passed through the fire, man. And the Lord's trying to strengthen you and increase you. You know what I'm saying? But these different things you always want to ask yourself and meditate upon, right? But, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up and close out through the Spirit. I'll give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, right? And greatly magnify his holy name continually throughout the earth in these last days as we're living through these perilous times, man. As we're living through the judgment of these other nations, as we're living through the judgment of our own nations, right? And as we're living through the repentance, right? And the comeback of our nation as well. And so with that, I'm going to say, Kwame Shalom. Shalom.